So is this the bottom?
No, I don't think this is the bottom.
So this is not the time to make that lump sum investment.
I think it's too early to start thinking of that. Don't look so worried.
No. Hey guys, welcome to the Money Mindset. Now we are in the midst of a big bear market. So I have someone who is a big bear himself, Shankar Sharma.
No. I have to stop you right there. I am not a big bear. I am a big hare. The problem is our revenues are now very, very stock market driven. I am uncomfortable with that. It has never been the case before in our fisc.
You think that is going to be a protracted bear market?
The data is very clear. Indian bull markets last between 4 and 6 years. We were into the 5th year of the bull market. You have to cut out these bull market high flyers. Go back to the basics. Buy stocks which will lead the next bull market. Whenever that happens, might take a year, 2 years. You will get enough clues about which company are going to lead the next rally. But in all probability, it's not going to be the same set of companies that made you money. No, gold is good.
Still good for more?
Yeah. I think gold is looking very, very good. I've been bullish on it for about 6-8 months, a year or so. I still think
But don't you think it's peak? Together, Zerodha and I plan to bring to you simple yet effective and impactful news and views from the best minds in the financial world. Hey guys, welcome to the Money Mindset. Now we are in the midst of a big bear market. So I have someone who is a big bear himself, Shankar Sharma.
No. I have to stop you right there. I am not a big bear. I am a big hare.
Okay, I thought you were a big bear all along.
No. If I was a big bear, I wouldn't be, wearing a nice watch and a nice suit. Because if you're permanently bearish, you will get cleaned out in the markets. But clearly I have not been. I've been around a long time. I've just been bearish at crucial junctures of the market, which was the dot-com crash or the GFC. Before those periods, I was a bull. But when you see excessive fraud, excessive, crazy valuation, people going nuts, that's the time when I take a different point of view from what the street might be taking. Now, nobody is vocal about it. Nobody talks about it, even if they privately believe it. At least I am honest enough to say it the way I see it. So then you'll pick those two instances in 25 years. Say, look, you're a big bear. No, I'm not. I'm a big hare. A hare is flexible. Adaptable. I'm quick to change my mind when I see things changing in front of my eyes.
So where are we right now? I mean, things have changed a lot in the last 1 year. In the last 6 months, actually. Are you bearish? Do you feel like the worst is over? Where are we at?
So I'm very clear in my mind that if you're talking India, I am negative for a variety of reasons. I turned negative sometime in July, August last year.
I remember that.
Yes, and I was very bullish. And if you go back and see my interviews with yourselves and other people, I was a table thumping bull on small caps for the last 4.5 years. So don't say that I'm a bear. I was extremely bullish right from COVID on the small cap end of the market. Yeah. And if you see the data, small caps have been the standout performers till, of course, the recent couple of months. And that trade worked out fantastically well. Large caps haven't done a great deal. We know that many stocks are just flat over the last 4 years, like Reliance or the banks. But small caps have been in a different zone. So I have been very bullish small caps, but by the middle of last year, I started to see that the bull market was aging. And I am a big believer in data and in cycles. No matter what anybody says, markets are cyclical. Returns are cyclical. Returns are not permanent. And after 4.5 years of a crazy bull market in small caps, I was very clear that this is an aging bull market. The bull market is now, the bull is now tiring. It just needs some triggers here or then, and it will just fall. And that was in the middle of last year, which is when I tweeted also that I want to move my money into fixed income. Any good fixed income guys come forward and give me your product, and I will put. And actually, I got some good fixed income people by August, September. I moved a reasonable part of my India money, because I'm a non-resident, my money is in dollars, into fixed income, and thank God for that. I mean, obviously, I cannot exit 100% of the market. It's not possible.
So this was in August of 2024?
Yes, exactly. August, September, I exited pretty much, I think 60, 70, maybe 75% of my India holdings into fixed income and other markets. So you can say that I was bearish on India then, but at the same time, I was bullish on fixed income. I was bullish on other markets. So whether I'm a bull or a bear depends on which market.
You're making money, whether you're a bull or a bear.
Exactly. See, that's the point, Sonia. People lose sight of the fact that, first of all, you should not lose money. Okay? Yeah. Only then you'll survive enough to make money. So when I talk like this, people say, "Oh, you're being bearish." I said, "No, I'm being conservative because I do know that in markets, if you want to play a 30, 40-year innings, you cannot have a fixed mindset that only one-way markets exist. It doesn't exist, and I've survived, and that's the proof of the pudding. I survived well. So, in hindsight, it was a good decision. I continue to believe it's a good decision to have exited India to the extent I could. I mean, a lot of stocks are not saleable. We know that. Yeah, but our trading restrictions on the markets are T2T and this T, that T, JSM, ASM. I keep losing track of how many restrictions are there on the cash markets. So many things you cannot exit. You just grin and bear it. But on whatever I could, I've exited a lot.
Okay.
I do not see any reason to change the view immediately. Okay. That said, markets have fallen. There are stocks which are good value. I am buying a bit. But to say that we go back into a roaring bull market of the kind we saw in the last 4.5 years, I think that's being excessively optimistic and probably unrealistic.
I think you tweeted a while back saying that investing is not about making profits, it's about taking profits. So, that's something that nobody teaches you, when to sell. They tell you when to buy, but there is this buy and hold till eternity, Warren Buffett kind of philosophy that I believe doesn't exist anymore.
Well, Warren Buffett himself doesn't practice it. So whatever he talks about, he doesn't. If you look at it, and Samir, my dear good old friend, who's been a Buffett investor for the longest time, he has tweeted it many times, so have I, that his average holding period is only 2 years.
Warren Buffett, yeah.
2 years. Yeah. So one is...
But maybe that's now, in the recent times, right? Earlier when he had bought Coke and all...
Out of 100 positions, 5 you will hold for 25 years. But if you look at the aggregate, you're holding with just 2 years. So yes, I have held stocks even now for like 15, 18 years. But that's not for the entirety of my portfolio. So my view is this, that a whole industry of finance is geared towards just making you put money after money after money. It is never that, guys, take a bit off the table, go enjoy your life, buy a home, buy a car, buy your wife or your girlfriend something. It doesn't exist. And that is where I have a serious problem with this industry. You lose credibility when it's just a one-way advice. So as I tweeted also recently, that they try to make investors into Arjun, but investors become Abhimanyu. Yeah. So, I mean, in this situation, why were people not advising that, guys, just pause a bit. We have gone up too far and too fast. It's time to take money off the table. But did you see any of the wealth managers, anybody giving that kind of advice? Zero, zilch. I mean, Naren was the only one who talked a bit about it, but that's only recently.
Yeah. So, no, Naren, actually, I remember I was at a conference with Naren in September of last year. And at that time, I think we were in Ahmedabad. And at that time, he said, this exuberance is scaring me. And every second person is asking me, how much should I pump in? Not whether I should pump in or not. And since September, he's been bearish. But of course, his interviews came into the limelight only now. But okay, so now what does one do? Because this seems to be a really scathing bear market. I mean, look at portfolios at 30-40% down in mid and small caps.
Oh, more.
Is it going to get worse before it gets better?
It's not about getting worse. It's about getting better. And a lot of the stocks damaged in this fall will probably never ever come back. Go back to recent history, 2018, that bear market that started when the LTCG was imposed in the budget of 2018. We had 2 brutal years of bear market, particularly in the small cap space. None of those stocks, to the best of my knowledge, came back in the bull market in small caps that started in 2020 post-COVID. Many stocks in this generation of bull market will not come back. So, in order to come out of it as an investor, you have to let go. You have to let go of the fallen angels, okay? Because many of those fallen angels genuinely deserve to be fallen angels. I mean, we know in small caps, all kinds of rubbish, keeps flying. But they are bull market stocks. They will not last out a whole cycle of bull and bear markets because they depend only on excessive and perennial capital raising. Moment that capital raising cycle stops, you're finished. Because unka business model is all based on next preferential, next warrants, next this, next that. This is not going to happen now. Without capital, these companies are dead.
So some examples you can give me?
No, I don't want to talk about companies, but I can tell you as a category and as an investor in that category, you have to cut out these bull market high flyers. Go back to the basics, buy stocks which will lead the next bull market. Whenever that happens, might take a year, 2 years. You will get enough clues about which company are going to lead the next rally. But in all probability, it's not going to be the same set of companies that made you money for 4.5 years. It's going to be a completely different, or not completely, a largely different group of stocks.
So you started by saying that this was an aging bull market, and
Yes.
hence you exited a lot at the end of last year. Now we've started a bear market. You
Yes.
think that is going to be a protracted bear market for a couple of years?
So, yeah. So here is again, I'm a purely data-driven guy. I'm unemotional about markets. And that's helped me a lot in my career. The data is very clear. Indian bull markets last between 4 and 6 years, typically. Okay, they can be plus minus a year here or there, but by and large. And again, the beauty of data is that 80-90% of the time the data will be correct in forecasting, but 10% can be wrong also. But that's okay. It's better to have that comfort rather than just go, listening to social media and television and all that. I trust the data more than people. Data is 4 to 6 year bull market. We were into the 5th year of the bull market.
Fifth.
I've written about it. I have given interviews saying that prominently so from the middle of last year. Now, when you are in the 5th year, have 45% or 48% compounding in small cap index, CAGR, over 5 years. It's crazy. Small cap long-term returns are 18%. Okay, so in my lake of returns theory, which is a pictorial way to look at markets, that every index or market has a finite amount of returns. It is not infinite. That's why I call it a lake. I call it a reservoir. It's like this cup of coffee. It can only take 200 ml or 150 ml.
At some point it will run out.
It will run over. Okay, it's not a sea. It's not a river. It's not flow. Okay, it's finite. When it is finite, long-term returns 17-18% from small caps. Large caps in India 10 to 12%. Large caps return 25% in this period. Okay, so you are 2 or 2.5 times your long-term returns. Your capacity was 10-11. You are now filled up to the brim. Long-term return small caps 17-18%. You are 48% CAGR. You are at beyond the ceiling or the dam of what your capacity is. This dam has to burst. And this is the exact dam burst that I saw in 2000 and I saw in 2007 December. And that time, I think you were in CNBC. I don't know if you were not.
Yeah, I was. I just joined at that time.
You just joined, and that was a famous interview with Uday, and I think in the January of 2008. And index had just kind of fallen a bit. Peak was 21,000 Sensex. It was 19,000, I think, when the interview in January 5th or 7th happened of 2008.
Yeah. And you were a big bear at that time.
I became a big bear, particularly because of that interview. Because I said that I think the Sensex is going to be in 4 digits. It was in 5 digits then.
But there was no talk of Lehman, nothing at that time.
Nothing. That was 8 months. 8 months later.
Yeah.
That has nothing to do with Lehman. It is just that events will happen to make the lake overflow into a burst, into a flood, which will devastate people around the lake. Exactly the same story has been repeated now.
So you're saying 4-5 year cycle at best for every bull market?
Exactly. Particularly in India. US bull markets last longer, and that's a different reason. More complicated reason why US bull markets last between 8 and 10 years. Indian bull markets last about 5 years.
But someone was saying the other day that now bull markets in India have gotten longer and bear markets have gotten shorter purely because of how much retail money has come in, SIP money, that equity cult has grown. Do you concur with that?
I think the equity cult has just started in 2021. How can we say that this cult will be durable enough to create a permanent bull market or a very long-term bull market? I think
there's no data.
There's no data. I mean, I'm a data person. If 15 years from now, the data holds whatever this gentleman is saying, I will agree. But so far, the data is very clear. Irrespective of money flows, markets do what they are supposed to do. And what they're supposed to do after 4 or 5 years in Indian bull markets of excessive returns, the lake overfills up, it bursts, it devastates the villages around, then the lake recedes, you have a dry spell of a few months, few years, and then it starts to fill up. But the fill up is not instant. You can't put a bottle of water in the lake and say, okay, now it will fill up. No, it needs rains to come down. That is cyclical. It takes time.
So tell me now, of course, from your vantage point, you've seen so many bear markets, you've seen so many bull markets, so you know how to kind of time it, right? But so many people who they don't have the research capacity, they don't know how to time markets, but they want to invest. So in this phase, what should one do?
So in this phase, it's very clear that SIP is obviously a popular product. I'm not convinced it's a great product. Okay. I believe, and I have data to back it up, but I will not discuss it on this show, maybe the next one.
No, please do. I mean, I'm
No,
happy to hear
I will
that.
get, I'm still forming that. I'm going to write a piece on that. That basically a lump sum, a staggered lump sum approach is better than an SIP.
Okay.
Meaning that you still, irrespective of what anybody tells you, markets are cyclical. When they are cyclical, and at the bottom of the cycle, when you realize that the returns in that lake are very, very low, you should put more money then rather than wait and come in at the top even through an SIP. Because what happens is very important. SIP is an equal amount of money injected into the market from your account as the market is climbing up. What happens is that you've not taken advantage of the lows. Your averages
Disproportionately.
your averages tend to keep creeping up to be maybe 15-20% away from the top. Now think about that. Once you've done that and the market's correct 20%, you're zero. The whole bull market for you has evaporated. It's gone. It's finished.
But dollar cost averaging is a method that has worked for years, right? I mean,
Where has it worked? It's worked in the US. And again, I'm saying longer durations of bull market is where the dollar cost averaging or the SIP works. Shorter duration bull markets, it does not work because by the time you got sizable money in through your SIPs, the market is already peaking. And your averages have then caught up with the peak of the market. So just a 20% fall makes your entire profit of the whole bull market cycle go. Another 5-10% you're negative. You say, yaar, मैंने 5-6 साल किया ये, net मुझे क्या मिला? If I put money into FD, nothing but return of capital is assured. Plus 7% on that is, or maybe 8% in a good NBFC, Bajaj Finance 8%. Minus tax, but now tax in the equity is also similar to that of tax on the fixed deposit. Earlier that was not the case. Okay. Tax was a big difference between fixed income and equity. But now you have decent amount of tax on even on equity returns. So why go through all this janjat? You see, that's the question SIP forces you to ask. So my view is that it is better, I don't know how it gets implemented by people, that lump sum staggered into 5-10 tranches is a lot better than slicing it into 200 tranches.
So lump sum, when you say into what? Into large cap stocks, direct equities, or through mutual funds?
If you're talking an average person, he doesn't have the tools, he doesn't have the understanding, not even the time.
Doesn't have the time,
No time, okay? And by the way, experience. Okay, none of this wisdom was there with us for 35 years ago. It takes experience to figure out all these things. So for that person, the right way, in my view, is to really speaking, get into markets when return levels or the water levels have become so low that they cannot go any lower. For example, 2015 to 2020, the lake of returns was only 1% CAGR.
Wow.
From 15 to 20, like now.
For 5 years.
5 years, 1%. Go and check the data. Nobody now remembers this. But I am a person of my data ka keeda hu.
But 2020 में तो बड़ा crash आया था ना?
Correct. So I'm saying.
तो तब तक तो market had gone up.
No, go and check it.
अच्छा.
Go and check it. See, that's the point. We believe in our brain conditions us to think, markets are always good. No, they were not. For 5 years, we had a barren patch. The lake returns,
in mid and small caps, you're saying? Or
aggregate.
In aggregate.
CAGR was 1% from the market returns. Mid caps, small caps were negative in 18 to 20.
Yeah.
Averaged out 1% CAGR. Lake returns had, the lake waters were very low. It was due for a rally. That's a time when you should put sizable money into the markets. That's why the lake of returns theory is so powerful. It gives you the ability to time the cycles. It doesn't have to be perfection. Even if you're plus minus 1 year, you're good. But SIP, because of the very nature of this average, gets you to splice your capital into small tranches. By the time you 3-4 years are over, you're near the peak, and your averages are 20% below the peak, or something like that. And 20% correction wiped out 4 years of hard work. Which is precisely why you might say markets have fallen only 20%. But they have gone up so much. Yeah, they have gone up, but you were not invested all of it or nearly all of it at the bottom.
At the bottom. So is this the bottom?
No, I don't think this is the bottom.
So this is not the time to make that lump sum investment?
I think it's too early to start thinking of that.
Okay.
It's too early. Let the lake waters recede some more. Understand this point also. People will say, no, but in COVID it recovered in 1 month. Okay? Yes, it did. But what was COVID? COVID was an exogenous event. It was like a equivalent of a nuclear war or whatever it is. It was a global problem. So when there is something that is causing a bear market which is global, everybody gets interested in solving that problem. COVID, all the world's laboratories, all the global central banks, everybody coordinated to find a solution. Hence, the solution came within a few months.
But don't you think this is also kind of like a global problem where the entire globe is now dealing with slow growth, high inflation, high costs, unemployment? I mean, you talk about any area, unemployment has gone up, costs have risen, growth is slow.
That is permanently the case. Some problem will be there. But look at the markets. Barring India, no major market has fallen as much. Please understand this. I mean, Asia has been doing pretty well. China, of course, very, very well. Europe has been an absolute blast out. Okay,
Even the US.
US was very good till about maybe 15, 20 days ago.
Yeah.
Okay, still down only 6-7%, not like down 25%. This is our local, personal, warm, cuddly bear market. This is not a global bear market.
You tweeted about that. You said this is 100% local.
It is purely
issue.
local.
Yeah.
Globe is not interested in solving your problem. You have to find your solutions. GFC was a global problem. The world solved it. Everybody coordinated. .com was a global problem. Tech was crushed worldwide. The central banks, especially in the US, they came out and solved the problem. Okay. Harshad Mehta was a local problem. We had to find the bullet. We don't have bullets. It took 7-8 years to work its way out of the system. We have a similar. I'm not saying it's going to take 7-8 years. All I'm saying is local problems require local solutions. I don't know what solutions we have right now.
So what is the big problem locally, you think? Earnings growth.
Earnings growth.
Slowdown.
Exactly.
Consumption.
Okay, it's very simple. Again, some bit of data. We had very, very poor GDP growth from 2015 to 2020. Again, you will not believe it, but the data was 2019-20 GDP growth. Do you know what it was?
No, 5-6%.
4.4%. Okay. You can't believe it, right? 1920, 4.4%. COVID came.
After that, it must have fallen further.
COVID was 1 year was very bad, but then we picked up dramatically.
Yeah.
Why? Capex. Correct? Government rapidly increased the capex. The same government which had not done that level of capex in the preceding 4, 5, 6 years suddenly found the magic bullet in capex. So capex numbers kept shooting up 5 lakh, 7 lakh, 10 lakh, 11 lakh crores. Now there is a finite level of capex you can do. Now the market has gotten used to, it's like a steroid shot. First time very good result, second time little less, third time little less. Sixth year you need more shots. You don't have more shots. 11 lakh crore is your ceiling of capex. It cannot go. If anything, the bias would be to have it lower because you have a revenue problem. The revenue problem is taxation. Again, this is very important. Again, pure data. There's no opinion here right now. We have two, on the direct taxes, two predictable sources, corporate income tax and personal income tax. Corporate tax was reduced in 19. Personal income tax now. What has increased in the direct taxes? Capital gains tax, STTs. So now you have a pie chart in which you have gone from predictable sources of tax revenues to a hugely volatile, highly unpredictable sources of tax revenue, which is stock market. So you have stock marketified the revenue pie chart away from predictability to a highly unpredictable level. Now, does anybody seriously believe we are going to get 2 lakh crores in capital gains this year, 25-26? No chance.
In the bull market, maybe that was possible, but now
we got that. 23 was 1 lakh crores in long term, maybe 50,000 crores in short term, maybe 40,000 crores in STT. So that's about 2 lakh crores. In 24-25, we don't have the data, but it could have been double that figure. So you're looking at 4-5 lakh crores coming from the stock market related income tax. Does anybody seriously believe these numbers are going to be achieved in 25-26? Not a chance. The problem with capital gains is you make capital gains, you book it and you pay it. Now when there is a capital loss, you get a 6-7 year carry forward and a set off period. So now whatever losses you're booking now, you have 5-6 years of window. So it's not only next year's numbers that are in jeopardy, it's also subsequent years. Till you recover these losses, which means markets have to go up dramatically up for you to break even. So for that period, what does the government bank on? You see the problem. The problem is our revenues are now very, very stock market driven. I am uncomfortable with that. It has never been the case before in our fisc.
So what is the impact that all of this would have on? So of course, we're talking about now. There's so much chatter about bringing down the capital gains tax and all of that.
No, it's not going to come down. Forget it.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen. Impossible. Because you bet your house fisc on that. If you reduce that, then you have to cut back on capex.
Yeah.
Right? If you cut back on capex, you cut back on growth. But I'm saying this is a fait accompli. You will have a shortfall on the direct taxes on the personal part because of the capital gains not being there. And it might have a shortfall of maybe 1 lakh of crores, 1.5 lakh crores. Versus that, you will have to cut back because the fiscal deficit is 4.4% target. They will not miss that. So where will they adjust it? Only in capex. So if 11 lakh crores doesn't happen, you go to 10 lakh crores, 9.5 lakh crores. You know that is the needle that has moved the GDP number. That means you're looking at a slowdown in growth. It might be like 5% growth. We are already struggling to meet 6%.
Yeah.
Okay? It's a struggle now. 5% can be very
even
much
X of capex, right? There's a huge consumption slowdown in semi-urban,
Precisely.
because of inflation.
Inflation and it's just that a lot of the gains came from the stock market or the consumption. That's very important. And there's something which by the way, in 2008 there was a conference and I addressed a conference, it was a Financial Times conference. I said that I am against the whole concept of over-ownership in India of equities. It's good for the West to have 70% ownership of equities.
Explain that to me. Over-ownership of retail?
By retail of equities.
Okay.
The West is okay. They have social security, they have safety nets, they have free medical, blah, 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 blah. So they can take more risk. And plus, they're richer. $50,000, $60,000, $80,000 per capita. They can take risk with their investments and their capital in equity markets. India is $1,000, $2,000, $2,500. You have no safety net. If you fall ill, you have to go and pay. You can't go to government hospital. Education, you can go to government school, but would anybody send their kids? No. There's no social security. With that capital, you're going to ask people to put money into equities. It's ridiculous.
Which is very risky.
Very risky. So I had said that, very controversial back then. But today you're seeing that exact same problem that people have rushed in. They thought equity markets were not cyclical. They thought returns were guaranteed. All the marketing machine of the finance industry, Twitter, etc., you're there on that, is all about just putting more and more capital in. Now, when that has gone, the returns evaporated. What will happen?
Yeah.
You will cut back on consumption.
In fact, you tweeted about that as well, right? What would the effect of the erosion of wealth because of the capital markets going down? There is this whole erosion of personal wealth that's taking place. What will the effect be on consumption?
Exactly. And I got very interesting replies. Many people said that I was planning to buy an SUV, home purchases have been deferred, holidays have been deferred. It will happen. Now, forget the fisc. Even the consumption has become stock marketified.
Yeah.
So fisc is dependent on this silly thing called stock market. Consumption is dependent on this silly thing called stock market. What kind of economic pie have we now made? Yeah. So I'm against the stock market pervading so closely to people in Jaipur and Bhubaneswar and all that. All good. Fort, BKC, Nariman Point, Delhi, Gujarat, or Calcutta. 7-8 cities का market होना चाहिए. बाकी को दूर रखो, put money in FD and live life happily.
Do you think you've got a more clearer picture of what's happening after you moved out of India? Because, when you're sitting here, and I ask this question a lot, I feel like when you're sitting in India, you tend to overhype or, you become a hype beast of the so-called
echo chamber
growth. Of course, it's an echo chamber. But do you think once you've stepped out, you've actually seen what the reality is? And is it very different from what we live? Everyone is saying, the big growth stories in India, etc., etc. But when you go out, you realize that India has a lot of work to be done.
I met a fund manager recently, an old friend of mine, and I was having a cup of coffee. He said, "Yaar, what's wrong with you guys in India?" This is before this current crash and all. This is like middle of last year when market was still good. I said, "Why?" He said, "I'm in New York. There is no such big talk about India being the next superpower and biggest growth story. It's okay. It's one market. There are many markets, many asset classes. I said, yeah, but we are in India. India is a closed chamber, and we just, echo the same story through TV, through media. And the other thing very interesting about India is the being closed is not just about, the markets. It's about the news. The media does not help in propagating larger perspectives of markets. Like even last year, 24, India was the 20th worst performing market. 24. Forget the current crash. Did you ever hear it on TV? Did you ever hear it in print? No. It pays us to keep the
growth story alive.
Growth story or the myth of permanent bull market alive.
100%, yeah.
That's the way the game works. And people, average guy doesn't look at, Bloomberg and all that and Reuters to see, oh, okay, other market is doing better. So we have cultivated a generation of investors who are literally brainwashed into believing that we are the only game in town. We are, but we are only cyclically so, not permanently so.
100%, yeah. I mean,
don't look so worried.
No. All the young guys sitting here are like, abhi mera kya hoga? Every time you come, you give me a lot of stress, Shankar, talking about the problems
in India.
Baba,
this is data. This is not problem. Once you admit and accept there is a problem, you have solutions.
Yeah. No. I completely agree with you. Yeah. But okay, now, just playing
it's like a doctor. You go to a doctor, you say, "Sab kuch theek hai. Aapka BP thoda high hai, 150 by 100, but it's okay. At this age, it's all what rubbish."
First, you need to acknowledge that there is a problem and then address it.
Correct.
So
if I'm in this business of wealth, as opposed to the business, as also the business of health, facing the truth helps. Data talks. Your blood report will show you the picture. You ignore it. It's up to you.
Yeah.
Do you want to ignore the data? Many people ignore the data. Cholesterol abhi 400. It's okay, kam ho jayega. What are you doing? But no, I'm really relaxed about it. I visualize that my cholesterol level is going to come down. I've got this Rhonda Burns in my head. What rubbish is this? Do something. It's the same principle in wealth. What works in health is data. What should work in wealth is also data.
You've gotten into health in a big way, at least.
Yeah,
right?
Because I believe that the best years of your life are when you spend 30 years in the market. You turn 55, 60. You got the wisdom and the experience and the scars to prove that 35 years. Then your best period starts. But if at that point, you've got high BP, you've got cholesterol, you can't walk, you can't sit, you can't eat, you can't drink, and maybe you drop dead, it's not worth it. If this period is like your middle overs of life, if you bat out these overs, you will become seriously rich and you'll be ready for the slog overs.
Yeah.
Most people get out at this time. So health for me is more important than wealth, for sure.
So what is your, I'll come back to the markets, but what is your, health regime? I know you do a lot, you do a lot of...
I'm a pro. Absolute pro. Look, whatever I do has to be at the best level possible because otherwise, it's not worth doing. So I spend a lot of time on researching health and longevity and stuff like that. And it's worked. Today I'm fitter, stronger, healthier than what I was when I've been an athlete through school and college. But today I'm much fitter. I can lift more weight. I can squat.
So what's your routine like?
I don't do a lot, by the way. Just to be very clear, it's very time efficient.
Okay.
But it's all again about research. So I work out only on the weights part. I do twice a week.
Okay.
But that's very intense. 15 minutes and you're done. 30 minutes in a week. Rest is only cardio. I do the Norwegian protocol, which I strongly recommend you should do if you're not doing it.
What is that?
So you basically do twice a week only. 4 minutes of running at 90% of your target heart rate. 3 minutes of slow walking and repeat the cycle 4 times in each session, only twice a week.
Okay.
The effect on your metabolism, on your markers, on your weight, on your heart health is insanely brilliant. It's game changing. You will see it. Try that for only 1 month and then you will thank me for it.
So 4 minutes of
intense
walking.
Running, walking, whatever.
Walking.
It's not about what you do.
Getting your heart rate up.
Heart rate up to 85 to 95% of your maximal heart rate. To get your maximal heart rate, it is 220 minus your age. Okay, that's your maximum. You do 85% of that for 4 minutes. And then slow down for 3 minutes. Again 4 minutes, then 3 minutes. Do it only 4 times in one session. You're done in 30 minutes, more or less.
So half an hour of that every day?
No. Twice a week only. You cannot do it. You'll be wiped out. It's too intense.
Okay.
But the effect is insane. So that's what I do for twice a week. Rest of the days I just do a casual walk for 30-40 minutes, and I do two sessions of weight training, maybe 2.5 sessions a week, which is about total 30 minutes. It's about data and about science. It's about understanding. People spend hours on things that gym में जाके 2 घंटे लगाना, अरे इतना ज़रूरत ही नहीं है.
And you watch your diet also very.
Diet is 80% of the battle. 80%. So, and for the minimums, you should eliminate sugar from your life. You should eliminate rice from your life. You should eliminate wheat from your life. Yeah, so I don't take dairy. So even my coffee that I take will be with soy milk or whatever. But there's no sugar. And I eat extremely healthy 80-90% of the time. 10% I keep for my indulgences. I like to eat out. I like to do fine dining. But that's only 10-20% of my life. Again, it's about the balance.
And you take a lot of supplements?
A lot of supplements.
Okay.
I take a lot. And I would strongly recommend at least 2. One is berberine. Berberine is a miracle one. It's a herb. You get it on Amazon. Take like 500 mg before each meal.
What does it do?
It basically cuts the insulin spike which you get when you eat. Whatever you eat will have some insulin spike. It cuts that. Because of that, what you do is you do not pile up the weight. Okay.
Yeah.
So it is the equivalent. It used to be diabetes drug back in the day. What Ozempic is now, berberine in a way is the natural form of that. Or the natural
I'm going to buy it just after this interview.
Natural form of metformin. It's a natural form of metformin. Natural form of Ozempic. And when you pair that with something called konjac powder, which again you get on Amazon. Okay, konjac basically is an appetite suppressant. So you take 1 teaspoon in the morning when you wake up, mix it in a glass of water, drink it, and same thing before each meal. Okay, normally
Side effects?
No side effect. I've been doing it for 20 years. Nothing. It fills you up, so you don't have cravings and hunger pangs. You won't feel anything. You just feel nicely sated. So your appetite, your food portions come down. So I typically in my day, I have only 1,000-1,200 calories. A man of my size, okay, I'm 6 foot tall, I'm 90 kilos in weight, I'm 18-19% body fat. You can't work with 1,000-1,200 calories. Yeah. You need 2,500.
I have more than that.
Exactly. When you do konjac, you will find your appetite has gone down to 1,200. And you're superly energetic. Try that. These two are the brahmastra of supplements. Of course, I do a lot more than that. But on this show, I can tell you these two, berberine and konjac.
Wow, interesting. I do know. I mean, you've been tweeting, also writing a lot about your health journey, and it's really fascinating the kind of data that and the time that you've invested in learning about all of this. Yeah. But we'll come back to that. I want to ask you some more questions about that. But before that, you were telling us about this whole wealth destruction effect and what's happening in terms of the capital markets and all of that. So for the person who's watching you right now, what would you want to tell them? What should the investment framework be for the next 2 to 3 years?
So investment framework depends on what kind of user you are. If you are just a average Joe on the street, it is high time you were also told that equities are not the only thing. There are other asset classes. Now the other reason why people don't talk about it in social wealth managers is because there is no money in recommending fixed income. There's no money in recommending gold. There's money in recommending equities because that's where you get the fat payouts on trail commissions.
Commissions and
exactly. So it's all about the incentives of the guy giving you the advice. It's time to question that advice and say that, but why not something else? Why not other things? And once you do that, you will find there are enough options that equity should not become so dominant part of your pie chart. It should be, to my mind, not more than 20-30% at best. There should be fixed income. Particularly a country
even like a person who's between the age of 20 and 35. Because they say that, the younger you are, you should have like 80-90% in equities.
That's absolutely insane. You should have 80-90% only if you're a professional market participant. So again, there are things you can do if you're a fitness guru. Your life is only YouTube, fitness, Instagram. You can do many things which an average guy running a job or a business can't do. Then you have to figure out what is right for you on the health front. You can't be spending all the time in the gym and doing, walks up a mountain and all that, right? You can't do that.
Yeah.
You have to find out what is good for you. Same thing here in the concept of wealth. Find out what's right for you. What's right for you is a moderate dose of equity, not a high dose of equity. High dose of equity is not wise. It is not wise. And current experience is fantastic. I think It is God made for the average guy on the street or the new generation. With this experience, you will become a better investor. Don't fight this. Don't hate it. Don't say that Shankar Sharma has said and market is bearish and he's XYZ. No. I'm doing you a good favor, great favor by telling you it's a dangerous business. It is not a piece of cake. When I say this after having done this for 35 years, take it seriously. You see, when you fight uncomfortable opinion, you're not going to become.
And you're not adaptable also.
Exactly. It's like a doctor who tells you the bad news. He is your real friend.
You told me about the Norwegian protocol and getting your heart rate up. I think this discussion only has got my heart rate up. I don't need any Norwegian protocol. I have to go back and look at my portfolio now. Okay, Sonia, what have you been doing all this while? No, but...
you look very worried.
Yeah, I told you, you always stress me out.
No. Again, see, I'm a good doctor. I'm telling you.
Yeah, good doctors always stress you out.
Exactly.
No, but yeah, so it is okay. So in terms of asset classes, right? Where are we at now? 25-30% in equities.
Yeah.
This is a big bear market. Nobody knows when it's going to end. Maybe it could continue for a couple of years. What is that one or two asset classes that you think could be the leaders in this bear market? Gold has already rallied quite a bit.
No, gold is good.
Still good for more?
Yeah. I think gold is looking very, very good. I've been bullish on it for about 6-8 months, a year or so. I still think
But don't you think it's peaked?
I don't think so. I mean, look, again, be clear, gold is not equity. It can't going to give you 25% a year. That's not that. But you can't have 25% a year in everything you own.
Yeah.
There are things meant for speed. There are things meant for comfort. This is your comfort trade. Fixed income is your comfort trade. Make that 70-80% of your life. Everything becoming high speed, you're going to have a crash, which is where we are right now. Gold, fixed income, 60-70%. Today, in current scenario, I think even higher than that is good. Equities, in my view, are particularly Indian equities, are headed for a spell of the lake drying up. It will dry up. We'll get another bull market. It is part and parcel of life. Like you have, बाढ़ होता है, फिर सूखा होता है, फिर पानी भरता है. It's a whole cycle of life. Markets are nothing but a reflection of cycle of life.
Okay.
You will get the cycle back up. But to get into that mode, preserve your capital today. Whatever you have. Every time, it's like cricket. You can't play the same game permanently. You have to adjust your game. The great players are great because they are not, it's Sehwag versus Tendulkar. Sehwag could bat on a particular track against a particular kind of opposition. Opposition changed. They figured out his game. He was over. Sachin played for, 25-30 years because he was adaptable. Certain games he would not play the cover drive because he was finding that's his weakness. That's the key. That he said, okay, this is my weakness, I'm not going to go there for this game. That's the discipline you need to succeed as an investor. Not this whitewashed, brainwashed, equities hi hai, only game in town. No, it's not. To survive for the next test or the next series, play this one more conservatively. It is that pitch, it is not a flat pitch.
And with AI and everything, things are really changing at a fast pace. So nobody even knows what's going to happen. Even the entire fund management community is also thinking, now LLM models are being used and AI, all of that. So
everything. I mean, our whole IT industry, I think, is headed for a problematic patch. Because I'd written about it also. That think about it, India's biggest growth area in the last 30 years has been IT. Services, of which IT has been the predominant part. We have had finance also, of course, but leave that aside. Our global calling card was IT. That is the people's business. We have lakhs of employees employed. Because of that employment, they have gone and bought houses, they've gone and bought clothes and watches and shoes and bags, blah, blah, blah. The whole consumption theme has come out of one industry. That industry is threatened by AI. I mean, every day you come across, and by the way, there is a lot of stealth firing.
Yeah.
It doesn't make the headlines. People are calling it that, you failed this test and that test, but that's all rubbish.
Everyone knows what's really happening.
Exactly. I mean, I can give you a test and you will fail. Okay, thank you very much, you go.
Yeah.
Why were you not taking the same test? Why were we not hearing this news like before ChatGPT.
And these were people who were hired 2 years ago, 1.5 years ago.
Precisely.
So in 1.5 years, how much has changed, right? That you need to.
And we were so bad, then why did I hire you? Were you not taking the test back then?
Yeah.
Or did you take the test and I passed and 2 years later I failed? It doesn't stand up to any logic. It's just a good way to tell you that, man, I've got a $29.95 subscription that is going to do a much better job than you are. It's a serious challenge. So it's a challenge for our industry, the fund management industry. I mean, you don't need an army of analysts anymore. I mean, you can do that with 2 people.
Yeah.
Exactly. It'll pervade everything. It'll pervade, like, news, for example. You don't need reporters generating, writing. It can give the thing. It'll generate stuff for you.
Yeah.
It will. Forget about that. I mean, journalism, or for that matter, legal profession, to make a writ petition or to understand a judgment. Now these guys do it like instantly.
We were also discussing a lot of AI tools are there to create avatars of like people, and then all of that is out there in terms of news dissemination also. So now you don't even need a real person.
You saw the Trump-Zelensky AI version in which they're actually fighting, boxing and running around. I mean, and they look real.
Yeah. So then how do you stay afloat in this AI world?
It's going to be very difficult for a country like India. Let me not sugarcoat this. We are a services economy. By the way, we are the only economy in the emerging world which has taken the services path to growth. All other emerging, the Asian tigers, they all came through manufacturing. Correct? Our manufacturing is still way behind all of them. Services was the way we came forward. AI is hitting us exactly there. And I think people are not worried enough about it. Our policymakers, I don't know what they are thinking about it. But we need to really get something done at policy, drive down this change. We have to be on the right side of this tsunami. If you are going to be on the wrong side, I really fear for employment. I really do.
No, the policymakers are doing quite a bit. Actually, I was at an AI conference recently, and Mumbai is a big, has a potential to become the AI use case hub of Asia. I mean, that's what they're gunning for. So they've woken up to the fact that, there is quite a bit of potential and things have to be done across industries. But whether it actually translates, time will tell. But yeah, it is real.
I mean, that's my real problem with India, that we talk a lot, but we need to action it. I mean, when Rajiv Gandhi became Prime Minister in 1984, I remember he made 5 missions. Telecom, advanced computing, IT, and a couple of others, all tech related, okay? And he made these are like the national priorities. And everybody was laughing that we need water, we need housing, we need roads. And this guy comes and talks about telecom and he talks about IT and, making advanced computing. What rubbish has he gone mad? But think about it, those visions were what created the modern India that we know of, okay? That's what we need. We need that vision and we need immediate and rapid execution. We can't build one bullet train and say that our bullet train vision is achieved. No, we need many such initiatives. And right now we have China to contend with. I mean, they have pressed on the gas beyond imagination the last 5-10 years. All the data is now coming out.
But what do you think is restricting us to become? I mean, is it just the democracy and the sheer population that's the big hurdle?
I think in large part it is really the kind of bureaucracies that we have. We are not getting people who are bright, intelligent from the private sector to work in the government. So Sam Pitroda came back from the US to spearhead the telecom mission. And we know what a boom we had in telecom. He made the C-dot switch also, our homegrown telecom switch. We need people like that coming into the government. If you have just career bureaucrats, ultimately, running the show, the vision gets narrowed over time. I mean, I have a friend who's an IAS, and he says that after 30 years of being a bureaucrat, our vocabulary also shrinks to only 10 lines. हमको वही 10 line मालूम है.
That's depressing.
Yeah, we need fresh thinking. We need the government to be encouraging of bright people from other areas to come and work for the country. But the problem is when you come and work in a government department, you have vested interests coming and trying to put roadblocks. That should be the leader's main focus, to get, how do you build a great company? By getting great people. How do you build a great country? By getting great people. We need to encourage that Here, people have left the government and gone back to whatever they would do. Why? We need to question that. I mean, Nandini Rekani was brought in and he created Aadhaar. I mean, that is something just game-changing even now.
Even UPI.
Even UPI. Precisely, we need that kind of private sector influx into the government.
But it's happening. It's happening at a slow pace. I mean,
we don't have time. We have a huge demographic dividend or debt or whatever you want to call it. But people, we need to put them
thank
to
God
work.
you didn't say demographic disaster, because a lot of people are saying that instead
Well, I call it demographic. I'm calling it demographic debt.
Okay. Why do you feel that way? Because you feel like there are too many people and too few jobs.
Exactly. We need to get them employed, and for that they don't have the option. The government has to create an enabling, environment for them. It has to be done by the government. So that vision should come through by the government, and I hope it does.
So you made an interesting point where you said that IT as a sector is now, of course, losing its relevance in a way because of what AI is doing to it, right? And it's very obvious. I mean, Meta is laying off people left, right and center, and Infosys is doing it as well in a stealth way.
Yeah.
But which are the other sectors that you think, were the leaders of the market in the last 10 years but may completely lose relevance in the next 10?
Autos. Again, auto on the manufacturing side has been a huge success story in India. Again, by the way, the same vision of 1984. Maruti came in 85, created, and the bikes came in 86, 87, the Kawasaki's and the Suzuki's, all of them came in with the collaborations with the domestic companies. Game changing. I mean, between IT, which created the services part, and small car and the bikes created the manufacturing part, our foundations were laid in 84. Their foundations are no longer relevant. You see, you make a building, but 30, 40-year-old building now. We need to make new buildings with new tech, with new thinking, what is that? That's the real thing.
But there are companies, right? M&M, Tata Motors are all kind of in the EV space. They are sort of moving forward and maybe not with that much pace or, that much speed.
Come to Dubai. You come to Dubai very often. Come and see the Chinese cars, Sonia. I weep. Look at those cars there. People talk about BYD. I mean, there are 25 BYDs out there. You don't even know half the names there.
Yeah.
And I go to the showrooms, look at the prices, 25,000 dirhams, 30,000 dirhams, 50,000 dirhams. You're getting cars which beat Tesla hands down in every spec. I mean, think about it. Xiaomi, which is a mobile company, has created a fantastic bunch of cars in EV, mobile company. Apple, another mobile company, abandoned its EV project after 10 years. What does that tell you? We have such a fantastic neighbor to learn from, and China copied from the West. We should copy from China. There is nothing original in this world. Everything is a copy of something else.
Yeah.
Copy kar lo yaar. Why can't Tata Motors and Mahindra dominate Asian markets? We dominated in the ICE part. I mean, Suzuki.
Even in two-wheelers.
Even in two-wheelers. We should aim for that. The problem with our company, I say this very, very unequivocally, is we are dependent only on a domestic market. Only. And that is our real problem as an economy. Our companies have become fat and complacent, just selling to each other in the domestic market. So Jio will sell mobile to M&M employees, M&M employees will sell cars to Jio employees. अरे ऐसा नहीं चल सकता है बॉस. बांग्लादेश में च्युइंगम तो बेच के दिखा दो मेरे को. Sell a lollipop in Sri Lanka, you get nothing. Why?
But that has been such a long-standing problem, this export competitiveness, that India's never wrapped its head around. I mean, why is that still an issue?
Again, you see, that's the interesting thing. People say कि नहीं, but India का market बहुत अच्छा है. People, why should we need to look out? Look at China. Look at the number of global companies they are building and have built. Start from Huawei and end with Xiaomi, and there are dozens of higher in the white goods space, TCL in the TV space. They dominate the whole of the ex-European markets. If they can do it, and they have a larger population, or have had a larger population, they did not just rest on the local population. They went abroad. So the local population size is no excuse for not globalizing. I mean, our banks, HDFC Bank, brilliant bank. Aditya Puri, the longest time I've respected him. He's a fantastic leader, known him a long time. But not one branch outside India. Not even a branch.
Why do you think that is?
Domestic market. Domestic, home pitch bias. I mean, cricketers do the best at home. बाहर जाके सब हार जाते हैं. अब तो यहाँ भी नहीं जीतते, न्यूजीलैंड से हार गए, बट चलो छोड़ो, that's a different issue.
But it's also a growing market in that sense, so there's still an
China is
argument
also
to be.
growing. You can't have these accommodations कि नहीं but यहाँ पर बहुत अच्छा मार्जिन बनता है ना, क्यों बाहर जाए. अगर ऐसा ही सोचोगे, then you will not globalize, and then it's not only progress. Then one day this market will hit a wall in terms of consumption. Then what do you do? Because all your eggs were in the central India basket. But that can't be permanently growing. China saw this 25, 30 years ago, companies-wise, not policy-wise. And I'm reading a book on Huawei right now. I can tell you, Sonia, and by the way, I would recommend reading the book. It's an object lesson on
What's it called?
Huawei, I think they're heading something. It's an object lesson on how Huawei built a global company based on their own vision. Ren, who is the founder, his own vision, but equally the vision of the party. Okay, the CPP. That we don't have global company. I'm talking 90. China had no global company. They said we need to have global company. What do you need from us? Yeah, incentive, that, this, that. When they launched, there's a very interesting anecdote. When they launched their first switch, it was like against Alcatel, Lucent, who were the big switch companies, and China was using only those. And they said, no, we need to make our own switch. We don't want to be reliant on the European, American companies. Build their, so Huawei, made it. The day they launched it, there was malfunctions. Hear this. The telecom minister of China came down, spent 2 nights and days working with the engineering team in Huawei to get the system up. Can you ever imagine in India that happening? It's a beautiful collusion in a good way of government and industry to build global giants. And as a result, today Huawei dominates. We started with C. under Petroda. Where did that go? Why did we lose out? We built our switch in 85, 86. We could have built another Huawei. Where did we lose the way? But that's in the past. Today also wake up, build domestic technologies. Because tech is your only way forward. Yeah. Hardware tech, software tech. Body shopping, there was a shelf life. Now we have milked that for whatever it was worth. As we were discussing, everything has a shelf life, right?
Yeah.
Relationship have, shelf lives. Markets have, businesses have. Time to move on. So that's what I'm saying. We need aggressive. The biggest problem I have is we are too self-congratulatory as a country. There is not even the beginnings of a critical evaluation at all levels of the government and the media. And when you lull people into this cocoon of complacence, ki nahi, hum to our century. What our century? Have you looked at competitors? Look at where they are going. You go to Serbia, for example, see the technology they are building. You will be shocked. A tiny country, probably the size of Bombay. Amazing tech. Ukraine before the war. Amazing tech. These are tiny countries. Amazing technologies. Brilliant. Forget China. We have to become a little bit more paranoid. We are too comfortable. Now, when I say this, you will say, you're raising my blood pressure.
No, this I agree with you. I agree because I don't know. I mean, I feel comparisons with India and China are very unfair because of how large our democracy is, and China is a autocratic nation and all of that.
I don't think that's an excuse.
It's not an excuse, but you still can't compare, especially at look at Kumbh, for example, right? You had 40 crore people over there. So it's not, and there was huge consumption. Religious tourism is booming. So do you think there are any areas where India has the potential to grow in a big way? I'm talking both from a stock market, from investment and sectoral. I mean, you said autos is falling behind in a big way. IT is suffering from this whole advent of AI.
Our 2 big successes in the last 30, 40 years are these 2. Yeah. These 2 are in serious jeopardy.
Correct. But autos, you think only because of the whole EV piece is not working because of, all the regulations and taxation and everything? Or do you think, because ICE piece has worked well in autos, or do you think this export competitiveness is something that
we have to look outside. We have to look outside. We have to build. Again, I say if China can be selling to all over China is killing European car makers.
Yeah.
Big time. Look at their numbers. They have been decimated. Why not us? Why all this dependence on just one market?
But globally also, I think the entire auto industry, Tesla is also suffering a lot. They've cut their guidance and all of that. So globally also, the auto industry as such is not doing well. I mean, that's not a justification for us not doing well, but I'm saying
Yaar,
overall as a
it's like, for example, you and I are competing in a market. You have 95% market share, I have 5%. There's a slowdown. Who should it affect more? You know, if you're 95%.
Yeah.
मैं 5% लेके मैं बोला मेरा भी स्लो डाउन हो रहा है बिकॉज 95% का स्लो, यार 5 का तुम 6 तो कर सकते हो ना. उसका 95 का 94 हो रहा है, 93 हो रहा है, कुछ हो रहा है, तुम वो 2-3% लेके जाओ, तुम्हारा तो 50% ग्रोथ हो गया ना. तो ये तो कोई, दिस इज नो मीनिंग, दिस इज अ सेल्फ डिफीटिंग आर्ग्यूमेंट. स्लो डाउन तो हम भी घर पे बैठ जाएंगे, इसका क्या मतलब है? स्लो डाउन आर गुड टाइम्स फॉर मोर कॉस्ट इफेक्टिव cars. Go back in time, the 1970s oil crisis. Okay, 1972, the Yom Kippur War and the oil embargo by Arab states. Okay, car sales in America crashed because oil became very expensive. America was making gas guzzlers, the big Cadillacs and all that, the Buicks. What happened? Japan stepped in. Your Toyotas and Nissans were born then. Small cars, fuel-efficient cars. That was the birth of a huge opportunity for Japan. क्राइसिस में ही अपॉर्चुनिटी मिलेगा ना. यू कांट से ग्लोबल मार्केट डाउन है तो हम भी घर पे बैठ के अपना एक दूसरे को बेचते रहेंगे. दिस इज द टाइम व्हेन यू बिल्ड अ बेटर टेक एट अ चीपर प्राइस. पीपल आर कटिंग बैक ऑन देयर वॉलेट्स. यू कम इन एंड फिल दैट गैप एज चाइना इज डूइंग इन यूरोप. मे बी दे आर टू फार अहेड, बट हम अगर उनका 100 है तो हम 5 गाड़ी तो हम भी बेच लें.
But do you think India has the potential to do that?
100%. We have brilliant engineers, we have brilliant talent. In my view, Indian companies are great managements, except everybody is just inward focused. And they will realize how short-sighted that was. Chinese banks, they dominate the whole of Asia. Our banks don't have one branch outside, except the PSUs, of course. सबको यहाँ पर credit card बेचना है. We need more aggressive global mindsets in our management. I do not see that. I have not seen it for the longest time. And one day that's going to hurt because the domestic market is not an infinite market.
But this realization, as I'm telling you again, has come to you after you've moved out, because we are sitting in an echo chamber. So it's very hard for people to, accept that something is wrong until you step out and you see that, okay, this is how the world has progressed.
Just because you stop reading global news and global whatever news doesn't mean the global news
doesn't exist.
It doesn't exist ना यार.
Yeah, no.
मैं पढ़ूंगा ही नहीं, मेरे को जानना ही नहीं है, मैं खुश हूँ यार. मैं ब्लड रिपोर्ट नहीं देखूंगा, कोलेस्ट्रॉल नहीं देखूंगा, यार तो मत देखो फिर तो. Then it's cool.
But at some point it's going to catch up.
It will catch up.
Yeah.
वो तो है reality. So I mean, that's what great individuals, great people are. They welcome adversity, create adversity. Go looking for adversity. Why did I say Norwegian protocol? It's very difficult. I can tell you will be wiped out. You will message me that boss, this is too tough. But that toughness will make you a better individual. It'll strengthen from the cellular level. Adversity is what we should seek and desire, not comfort zones of echo chambers. You're great, I am great, India century, India this, India that. So when I tell you about adversity, you should welcome it, not get stressed.
Correct.
But you're getting stressed.
No, now I'm welcoming it. Now I'm going to go back home and think about it. Okay, so...
How's your blood pressure?
It's a lot of real talk for one day, Shankar. You should have prepared me for this.
I know. When you call me, you know what you're in for. Okay?
Yeah. That's why I started by saying you're a big bear.
No. Do you still believe I'm a big bear?
No. Now
I'm a realist. I'm a realist.
Yeah.
Hare is a realist. Because a hare is a small animal. No, it's a small animal. It doesn't want to die. It doesn't want to get eaten up. So believe, be humble, believe there is a big jungle out there. You need to first survive, then prosper.
So, this happened to me recently because I was in an industry that was thriving for many years. And suddenly there came a time when I realized that the eyeballs are shifting. And it's very hard to, because, it's like a larger screen and all of this. It's very hard to first accept it. People are in denial for a very long time.
Remember, we had a meeting in
Yeah,
Dubai?
we did.
Exactly.
So that agility is something I was exposed to.
So you are a hare too.
Maybe.
So maybe you are bearish on one thing, but you are bullish on what your current career is.
Yeah.
See, you can be both.
And I believe that in life there are many phases where you have to make drastic changes, whether it's in your relationship, whether it's in your career, whether it's in your,
100%.
and that change is welcome. Like, we don't accept it because we say, okay, now we got married, now this is for life. Now we've become a doctor, now this is for life.
Correct.
But you can be a doctor and be a musician.
Precisely.
You can be married and get divorced. You can do a lot of things.
Everything happens.
Yeah.
The thing is to pivot when you see things changing. People become too wedded to a point of view. The point of view is dated. And your point of view is only your problem, it's nobody else's problem. You see?
Yeah.
So being agile, flexible and pivoting is the key, and you're the best example that you saw linear TV is headed into a certain zone, which was not the case prior. You shifted and now you're rocking.
Rocking ka to pata nahi, but I'm sitting with guys like you, so I'm grateful for that. But even your journey, right, Shankar? I mean, I've watched you since 2008. You have been in the headlines for the longest time.
Sure.
You have been relevant for the longest time. It's not easy. You have been on the good and the bad side in every way, right? Whether it's professionally, whether it's personally, and you have made no bones about the fact that, this is my life and this is my story. But what has been your secret sauce?
So secret sauce is very simple that, first of all, I don't like to belong to the crowd. So that's been my nature, my personality since I was in school. So I was always the most problematic kid in the class. Most.
Which school was this?
So this was in Dhanbad. It was a Jesuit school, De Nobilis. Great school, and it might be the best school in India. I was taught and tutored by the priests who were all American Jesuits. And they gave us education which is beyond imagination. But I remember many years ago, my school principal, Father Hess, who just passed away, he was a German American. So he had come to India and I invited him to my home. And we were having a drink, of course. But drink with Father Hess was like a big deal. We were kids. And he said that, I really remember you. You were a real handful in school. And this is an old man who has seen thousands of kids come and go. So I was always that kind of kid, I was never going to be fitting into a particular mold or something. And I guess that personality continues even now for whatever might be the reasons. But I like to think differently. I mean, that's just me.
So you have faced many setbacks, right? Professionally also, personally as well. You may call them setbacks, you may call them changes, whatever.
Nothing, no setback. What setback?
But how do you deal with them?
Nothing.
You just move on.
Yeah, it's like injury in a game of cricket. You're out there playing. I remember Yogaraj Singh used to be our coach in college. I used to play cricket quite proficiently. I wanted to become a cricketer at that point, but then I decided there was no money back in the 80s. So I thought stock market is better. It worked out okay. And he was a brutal bowler. He was very quick. He was the quickest India ever produced. And that back then there was no helmet, no guard and all was very rudimentary. And in the nets we used to face him, and he's Yuvraj's father, of course.
Yeah, of course.
He played for India also. And we used to say, sir, thoda sa slow karna na, sir. And he used to say in Punjabi, I'll leave out the bad words. He used to say, साले इमरान खान के सामने बैटिंग करेंगे क्या बोलोगे सर थोड़ा स्लो करना डेनिस लिली के सामने जाओगे तो क्या बोलोगे थोड़ा स्लो करना जेफ थॉमसन के आगे सर प्लीज बोल लिटिल स्लोली खेलना इंडिया के लिए ना लड़ो जाके सामने गेंद लगेगी सर पे तब पता चलेगा गेंद का क्या वैल्यू होता है सो दैट्स इट क्रिकेट खेलने निकले हो लाइफ में निकले हो छोटी चोट लगेगी थोड़ा होगा क्या क्या प्रॉब्लम है फाइट इट डील विद इट यू विल बिकम बेटर फॉर इट
Were your parents that kind as well? Where they kind of toughened you up? Was that your childhood?
Big time. Absolutely. No question about it. I mean, I know my father was a big party animal. I mean, he died when I was 18, which was again a big setback. Biggest setback. Not just for me, but any kid, and my father was a government servant. He worked for Coal India, no major wealth or something. And one fine day he died. And then I had to fend for myself because I was the only son. It toughens you up. But I remember 1 year before, so he was having a lot of parties at home and I was preparing for my ICSE. And I asked Dad, can you just slow down for like 15 days or so? Mera exam hai, 10th ka hai, ICSE, big exam and all that. So there's a lot of noise and, obviously. And he was just at that point 50, 51. He was not like an old man. And he said, but why should I slow down? I don't understand. I said, sir, father, पार्टी के चलते पढ़ाई नहीं होती है. तो बोला जाओ जाके रोड पे पढ़ो ना. There's a street light there. विवेकानंद भी जाके पढ़ते थे ना स्ट्रीट लाइट के नीचे. तो तुम में क्या, दोस्त के घर चले जाओ, उसका बाप तो बहुत मतलब सबे आदमी है, वो तो पार्टी नहीं करता है. Don't make excuses. Do not make excuses. Find ways to solve the problem. I will have my party, boss. This is my life, okay? तुमको एजुकेशन दे रहा हूँ, तेरा फीस भर रहा हूँ. अब तुम कहाँ पढ़ोगे वो डिसाइड मैं नहीं करूंगा. घर में तकलीफ है, बाहर चले जाओ. That minute I said, what is this guy talking? 2 minutes later I said, boss, wisdom है. पढ़ा ना, रिजल्ट लेके आए. रोने का नहीं है लाइफ में बॉस. फाइट मारो, आगे निकलो.
So after he passed away, you had to fend for yourself, your family, and all of that. How was that?
Very tough, very tough.
You all didn't have much money at that time.
I mean, modest from 4,000-5,000 rupees of rent per month and all that. Actually, the stock market helped me, to be honest with you, because in my first job, 1984, when I was in HCL, and the hardware side, the boom started then. And
the tech boom.
Yeah, the India boom started, tech boom started here. So I was lucky, I was very young, I was just 21, but somebody introduced me to markets and I started to make some money on the side. And I said, yaar, ye to theek lagta hai cheez. But again, because I was hungry, I was looking for solutions to make money. I was not sitting and crying, yaar, apna baap mar gaya, yaar, apne life mein to. Because I didn't want my life story to be one of hard luck story, boss. No. I'm not a hard luck guy, boss. वो चांस ही नहीं है. हार्ड लक है तो मैं तो वेलकम करता हूँ ना, बिकॉज तभी तो लाइफ की स्टोरी में मजा है ना. अगर आपका एक आराम का एक स्टेडी स्टेट है तो उसमें क्या, फिर स्टोरी का कोई मजा ही नहीं है ना. कभी लिखो भी गलती से कहानी तो कहानी में कुछ मजा तो आना चाहिए ना. मूवी का बिगिनिंग, मिडिल, इंटरवल, एंड सब एक ही रहा तो मजा क्या आया. होता है ना भाई हिंदी मूवी में, अप डाउन, क्लाइमैक्स, मारा मारी, विलेन, सब होना चाहिए. लाइफ व्हाई शुड इट बी एनी डिफरेंट?
Yeah, like someone was telling me, you don't want to just sit on the shores, right? You want to go and ride the waves. Even if you fall off and there's a scope of drowning, it's fine, but you'd rather be riding the big waves than sitting on the shore.
Exactly. Be out there. Battle it out. That's why when people say work-life balance चाहिए, मेरा तो जॉब इंटरव्यू का एक ही है डील ब्रेकर है ना. वर्क लाइफ बैलेंस सुनता हूँ ना तो मैं बोलता हूँ थैंक यू वेरी मच, वेरी नाइस मीटिंग यू, यू कैन लीव नाउ. अरे अपने लाइफ में आज तक बैलेंस नहीं हुआ तो तुमको कहाँ से 25 साल में बैलेंस मिल जाएगा यार.
You will get trolled for this, huh?
It's okay. It's okay.
You're used to the trolls anyway.
It's okay, na. I can deal with it, यार.
How do you deal with trolls, by the way? You get many.
I engage है, मजा आता है. बच्चे हैं, थोड़ा समझा देते, थोड़ी गाली दे देते हैं. When they realize I'm that level also, I'm not just some high level. It's okay.
So you don't get bothered by the.
Nothing. See, on social, if you don't have a thick skin, then you should not be on social.
Yeah.
Everybody is a cheat, everybody is a fraud, everybody is a manipulator, everybody is fake, everybody ये पहले ये बोला था जी हो गया, वो तो सुनते रहे. As an anchor also you've seen it. No.
And bear markets में सबसे
ज़्यादा. वो तो सबसे ज़्यादा आता है. It's vitriolic, but it's okay ना, ignore it. Screw it. Doesn't matter.
This was really fun, Shankar. I don't think I've had this. I've spoken to you so much in the last many years, but I don't think we've
because
had
that was TV format.
Yeah.
See, 5 minutes में canned answer, canned question. It's too boring.
Yeah. This is fun.
This is fun. Absolutely.
Okay, so final questions then. I ask every guest, right? Because I speak to so many people, successful, wealthy, doing well, top of their careers, etc. Are you happy?
Happiest I have ever been. I am fitter, healthier, wealthier than I have ever been. What else do you want?
And what's the formula for happiness?
That I welcome adversity. मैं डरता नहीं हूँ. मैं बोलता हूँ bring it on, man. देखा है. It's okay. It's all well and fine. When you welcome adversity ना, it's like कि अगर टाइगर है ना, टाइगर से तुम आँख हटाओगे ना. They say this in Kanha forest. If the tiger comes suddenly, make eye contact. It will back off. If it realizes you're scared, then you have a real problem. Look into the eye of the tiger. It will go away. If you look at adversity face on, it will go away. डरोगे तो मर जाओगे. किसी चीज से.
And what's your viewpoint on money? Because now these days a lot of people, money doesn't buy you happiness.
Who says that?
Some people do. I don't believe in it, but yeah, some people.
So I believe in what Buffett said firmly, that money is the root of all evil, but make sure you have a lot of it before you say that. So, I love money. I mean, money drives me. Even now, yesterday I was with my analyst and he was saying, sir, I was asking about a deal we are working on. He said, sir, आप अभी भी इतना इसमें involved हो ये? मेरा को ये मजा आता है यार. He said, sir, after 30-40 years of doing this, मेरा तो thrill है. The money is very important. The art of the deal is important. It's what drives me. It's what makes me wake up. It doesn't dominate me. It's a beautiful friend. But I don't want it to dominate my life. But I love it.
Just like your relationships.
Just like your relationships. Relationship should not be democratic. You should dominate it.
That's a discussion for another day. But okay, since this is, this show is called The Money Mindset, one final question, since we are in this big bear market, so to speak, just parting thoughts on, what's the best way to approach it, what's the best mindset to have, what's the best investment framework?
Don't get killed. If you don't get killed, you will survive and you will, prosper. And the final point is, learn to use this opportunity. Again, it's adversity. It's hitting you. It is making you bleed. This will make you stronger. Don't fight it. Don't hate it. If you hate it, it'll come back more on you. Love it. Embrace it. Learn from it. You will become better. That's what I said on another show. That इसमें डरने की क्या बात है? I mean, we have suffered all these scratches and wounds over 30-35 years. Let this generation also suffer it. Why not? गेंद लगेगी तो ही समझ में आएगा ना कि what is facing Imran Khan and Jeff Thompson, as Yogaraj said.
Yeah.
Same thing. गेंद लग रही है अभी ना. Now you will build your technique to avoid the ball, to hook the ball, to cut the ball. नहीं तो ऐसे तो आपको लॉलीपॉप कोई दे रहा है और आप खेल रहे हो, लग रहा है इसमें कुछ नहीं है ना, इसमें क्या बड़ी बात है? This is the real deal.
True. So for people who are, say, I get these questions every day and I really have no answers because I think very differently in terms of my own portfolio. But for people who are, say, sitting on 30-40% losses in mid and small cap stocks, what's the best strategy for them?
Strategy is to bet on winners, not on losers. Always in life. Whether it's a horse race or it is a stock market. If your losers are real losers, they're down 50%, 80%, 70%, look for the guys who are winning in the market. They are the ones who will take your boat out of this current trough. Not the same losers. Unlikely the losers will bail you out. Biggest problem with investing is we don't want to get rid of the problem positions. We nurse them. उनको हम सेकते हैं.
Become emotional about it.
Exactly. It's hard for the ego to accept कि चलो यार loss हो गया, cut it, move on. When you cut it in anything, it's gotten rid out of, it's out of your system. It's a fresh start. Make fresh start right now. Review everything. First principle, zero-based budgeting. Cut out the losers. The stocks are winning. That's where you need to go. And you will see winners emerge now. Slowly, but they will emerge. Go out of the losers into the winners. I'll tell you, 1 year from now, even if you have a bear market, your stocks will be probably up a decent bit. Because bear market doesn't mean 100% of the market falls. 80% falls.
But how do you find those winners is a question. No?
Data बताएगा. Ask your wealth manager to advise you, brokers to advise you. If they're still around, maybe they'll go out of business. I don't know.
Okay, so make a fresh start, and that's that's going to be a big takeaway. Thank you so much, Shankar, for joining me on the show. It was so much fun, and
get your BP down.
Yeah. It was a mix of wealth, health, and I wish you a lot of wealth, health, and prosperity as you've always been.
Likewise, and I heartily reciprocate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.